Sentry mode activated. Target acquired.
Hey there, hunters. Welcome back to the Gunner's Guild. Today we're going to talk about the Sunbreak weapon showcase trailers, because of course we gotta, and I wanted to wait for all the ranged weapons to come out so I could do this all at the same time, and now we can. Plus, it did give me time to absorb and marinate in the new information rather than just jump to conclusions on said weapons. So today we're going to be talking about the bow showcase, everyone's favorite most OP weapon ever, more than longsword, and people don't seem to realize it. Again, another weapon I'm pretty excited to try in Sunbreak, even though I boycotted the weapon in Rise, but let's dive in and see why. So first, we're going to talk about the new Silkbind, Butcher's Bind. While a lot of players are thinking this is like DB's or Lance's tether move to the monster, it's really not. It's more like the tripwire art that we had in GU. Shocker, more GU arts, I know. But anyway, Butcher's Bind says that it fires an arrow, and then the subsequent arrows that land on it do sever damage. Pretty straightforward, but there are some caveats. First is that the next arrow must land, and land on the spot you tethered it to, so you need to hit twice in the same spot for this to work, and wants to take advantage of it. It shouldn't be too hard to use, I'm sure, but I'll wager people will complain about missing and wasting their Silkbind. The second caveat is that it only lasts for one subsequent arrow, which I kind of find weird. So if you miss, it's gone, and if you hit, well, I mean, it's gone. I don't know, it just seems really weird that we have to use the tether just to shoot normally with one more arrow to inflict cut damage. Like, why not just shoot a large single cut arrow? Why bother with the tether if it's immediately consumed anyways? You can see in the trailer that the tether fades before the tail is cut, and even on the face, it's used up instantly. So I'm not really sure how much damage this is going to do, but honestly, I don't particularly care for it. I mean, they gave us Dragon Pierce, which does cut damage for our tail cutting anyway, so I'm not really sure why we needed another cut attack, and one that requires a Silkbind to use. Tripwires in GU weren't very good either, but they were at least a duration thing that let us shoot cutting arrows for a while, which I could see being better here in 5th gen since monsters have really bad gunner hit zones, but maybe that's why they only made it one shot. I mean, I'm glad that doesn't take over our arrows and coatings at the very least like it did before, but it's not really going to be a long-term cut arrow like it was. Can't be having bow be melee with cutting attacks, right? Nah, but bow can be melee by stealing Wormstake Blast from Gunlance. Dude, I don't know why we have this, but bow has it now. It's also funny to think about bow getting a stake where the flagship monster is a vampire. This makes sense, but I mean, why bow? Regardless though, I think this attack actually looks really good. Not only is the stake super fast, but you can poke after a slide, which is just perfect to be honest. I feel like we'll be able to weave this into combat very effectively. Now, of course, since this is a Wormstake Blast, yes, it will explode with each subsequent hit for a period of time, because of course bow needed more damage. Now, what's interesting is that the website says it reacts to different types of arrows, so rapid, spread, pierce, and dragon pierce will all probably do different levels of explosions, kind of like light bowgun landmines. I'd imagine spreads and dragon pierce do the most follow-up damage, which would be awesome to be honest, because I'd love another reason to use spread arrows over rapids. We don't really know how long it's going to last. In the trailer though, it did get used and toppled an Anjanath, and you can still see that it's still attached, so it's definitely not like a one-time use like Butcher's Bind. It also appears to eat your charge, so you may be able to scale it with fully charged stakes. I'm not sure what else it's going to scale off of either. I mean, it's an explosive, so maybe artillery? It's kind of weird to think about putting artillery in a bow set though, but there's no point really speculating on something like that. But overall, pretty happy with it. I do like the stake. Now let's discuss the switch skill swap ability that all weapons get. While I don't expect heavy bowgun and light bowgun to use this, bow definitely will be having a lot of fun with it. Bow will now be able to use absolute power shots to get a first KO and then swap out of it to standard power shots, which will cost less stamina, so that's pretty big already. But then we'll also be able to swap between dodge bolt and slide charge, which is great for multi-monster fights, as some monsters work better when you hug them with dodge bolt and others you want to chase down with the slide charge. So I mean, yeah, that's all good, right? Another crazy thing to think about is that bow will be able to hold on to its charge when using the switch skill swap. No idea if there's any downtime to recover some stamina before performing or after it, but it could be pretty nutty. I'm not sure what kind of combos we'll be able to use, but just keeping the charge on swap seems pretty crazy, especially when you consider that the aerial shot also uses your charge, so being able to hold on to a charge, slide, and then swap into aerial for full charge is pretty crazy. I'm not really sure if we're going to be using the new Silkbind all that much, Butcher's Bind, but either way, it should be fine since we want to take advantage of the switch skill swap anyway, so if we can use it, then great, right? I'm actually pretty excited to see how bow plays out in Sunbreak. This actually looks like one of the better gunner trailers, to be honest. But that's pretty much all for me, though. Thank you all for watching, and good luck out there, hunters.